Good day, folks. Welcome back to my neck of the woods. My name's Deco, where I share my experience, my knowledge, hoping to lessen your learning curve. So today I am going to do a comparison review between two cellular trail cameras, the Moultrie Delta Base and the Micro Link by Spypoint. The reason I chose these is because the price is exactly the same. So do you get the same features for the same price? If you go on the website, this is $119.99, $120. You can find it on sale, and sometimes the website will have sales, and you can get them on Amazon for sales, usually around $90. This is also retailed for $119.99, but it is always on sale on the website for $89.99, always. You can get a twin pack of these that's for $180 and sometimes on sale for $160. Depends where you go. But if you shop around, sometimes you can find that twin pack for less. There is not a twin pack on this, but every once in a while, the website or other places will do a bundle with this. For $90, you'll get the batteries, the SD card, and obviously the camera. This camera, the Micro Link, takes 8 AA's. It's a pack that goes within. That's the connection in there. Here's the connection, and it's 8 AA's that fit right in there. This one takes 12 AA's. There we go. The directions in order to activate it are right here. They're very simple. They're very easy to follow. Same thing with the Spypoint. Very easy to follow. This is photo and video. This is just photo. This is 24 megapixels, and this is 10 megapixels. So the quality of the video, obviously, and the quality of the photo is substantially better. At the end of this video, I will put some night and day photographs of both of these side by side so you can see the difference of them, obviously. And at the very end, I'll put a couple videos of this so you can see the video quality. There's no video with this. The trigger speed in this camera is 3/4 of a second. The trigger speed in this is a 1/2 a second. So this is a little quicker. The range on both of them is 80 feet, and I agree with that. I use both of these in the field, and I agree with it that it's 80 feet. I think sometimes more. I honestly do. This one requires a regular, normal kind of SD card right here. This one's made by Moultrie, and it accepts up to a 32 gigabyte card. This one, the Spypoint Micro, requires a micro SD card. They both require a Class 10 SD card. You need a Class 10. If you do not put a Class 10 SD card in the Moultrie, it won't work at all. If you put anything other than a Class 10 SD card in here, it won't work properly. It's not going to work properly. As far as the SD cards, you can get ScanDisk or Alta or whatever, as long as it's a Class 10, and put it in the Spypoint, and it's going to work fine. My recommendation for the Moultrie is to buy the Moultrie card. They don't want any bells and whistles, no high capacity, no fast cards, just a regular Class 10 SD card, which is sometimes problematic to find. They're $15 on the website for a 16. I think upwards of $30 for the 32. In my opinion, all you need is the 16. All right. As far as turning them on and operating them, they're relatively the same as far as the direction. They both offer a 2-year warranty. So if anything happens within that 2 years that they consider normal wear and tear, they will replace that camera and send you a brand new camera. As long as you can show proof of purchase. So when you do buy them, just make sure you get a receipt or some proof of purchase through electronic or Amazon or wherever you bought it. The websites do show record. So if say you lost the record that you find it, you can go to the website and request it, and they can send it to you. Food for thought. All right, so we're going to get into the cameras. As far as setting them up, this one, you scan inside, you take your phone. You have to make an account with Spypoint. There's a barcode on the inside of this. You scan that with your phone, put batteries in it, you put your card in it, and you turn it on, and it should work. I say should. it should get a signal and it should work. This one, it's the same thing. There's a barcode up here. You scan it with your phone. You put your SD card in, you put your batteries in, and you turn it on, and it will work. Not should work, will work. There's no problems with this. There's no troubleshooting with this. You just turn it on. Occasionally, that you'll have to turn it off and turn it back on occasionally, but that's really the only troubleshooting with this. This one, the Spypoint, requires firmware. So if you they always tell you to update your firmware onto the card before you put it on. Sometimes in the field, it won't work because it needs firmware, so you have to go into the field, take the card out, bring the card home, put it in your computer or laptop, put the firmware on it, and then bring it back. My advice to you is if you're going to get Spypoint and use Spypoint, you buy extra cards, and then when the camera gets finicky or fussy, you already have that firmware. You can just go into the field, pop the new card in, and be done with it. That's my advice to you. This one, for the most part, every time there is new firmware, so say it will still work if the firmware hasn't been updated. But if there are any updates, like on the mobile app or something like that, you're just not going to get those updates. In order to get the updates, you'll just need to turn the camera off and turn the camera back on, and then everything will come directly to the camera, and it should work properly or continue to work properly from there on out. As far as the antennas, I think that this is just beefier and stronger. You can bend this one, you can bend it forward, and you can turn it sideways. This one really has one position, and once you kind of turn it the wrong way a little bit, you kind of lose the stickiness of it. You know, it's going to go off. As far as signals, I find that this camera just has a better signal overall. Even if your cell phone doesn't, you get into an area where your cell phone has trouble, you're still going to get pictures. The signal may be fair, but it's going to work good. This one, not so much. It's really finicky. It's really fussy. You really have to get into an area, and sometimes it's just a matter of moving it 10 feet to the left or 10 feet to the right, but you're not going to know until you try. And when this camera isn't working, most times you don't know why it's not working. So you have to troubleshoot it. You have to go through troubleshooting steps. Usually starts with customer service. And if it's inside of that 2 years, they will send you a new camera. Just so you know that. So some of the troubleshooting steps is you take the batteries out, you put new batteries in, you check the firmware, turn it off, you turn it on, you move the location. And then you can call technical support, and they can tell you maybe what's going on by the indicator light that's in there. Ultimately, when you turn this on, it starts red, it goes to a solid red, and then it goes to green. That tells you that you have your signal, and then it should work after that. And you know what? It does work a lot, but there's a lot of troubleshooting involved in this camera and using this camera. You know, so anything, the benefits of it, this is a small camera, you know, and it's not bulky, and it blends in pretty good with trees. This is a big, bulky camera to carry around, right? So this one does get fussy. There are a lot of firmwares. There's a lot of troubleshooting. I mean, on my YouTube page, I have a video for troubleshooting Spypoint. A lot of people watch it. A lot of people watch it. I do not have a video for troubleshooting Moultrie. You know why? Because I don't need it. No, but anyway, so there is a benefit to this that this doesn't offer. So when you want to use this camera, you have to buy into a plan. You have to buy into a data plan. At 20, 30, 40, I think it goes up to $35 a month for different plans. The one I use is $10, and it's for 1,000 photos and 10 videos. And the videos are good. Like I said, you'll see some at the end here. This one, there is a benefit to it for purchasing it. You get 100 free. So every month you're going to get 100 free. So a lot of times I will use this camera depending on where I put it, and I'll put it out. And when that 100 free runs out, you'll be alerted that it ran out. Then I'll buy into the plan. I think the next plan is like 250 pictures after that for like $5, I think. I'm going to do another video on data plans because that's a whole nother ball of wax. I could spend 10, 15 minutes just talking about that, going back and forth. But, so these cameras, I went over the specs, I went over some of the ins and out of it. This one's much more reliable, easier to use. You kind of just turn it on. There really isn't too much troubleshooting, and you're going to get a better signal. This does give you those 100 pictures free. So you could potentially buy this camera, deal with some troubleshooting, and not have to pay for a data plan if you're keeping those pictures under 100. This one, it's going to cost you $10 a month or more, depending on which plan you choose. So as far as the antennas, it goes to Moultrie. It's a better antenna. It gets a better signal. As far as the seals inside, the seals that keep it weatherproof, Spypoint there's a rubber seal that holds in here. Over time, it corrodes. And then water gets into this, and then it corrodes this, and then it corrodes that, and eventually it just stops working. I have not seen anything with the Moultrie that along those lines. It does not have a rubber seal. It does a little bit in there, but for the most part, it's just the plastic fitting in the plastic. And the rubber seal, it's in here, but it's not. This kind of compresses the rubber seal and holds it together, as opposed to the rubber seal going around the plastic. So I find that this is much more weatherproof. As far as troubleshooting issues, it goes to Moultrie again, because this has a lot of troubleshooting issues. I'm not saying it doesn't work and it's not a good camera. You just have to mess with it, and you just have to work with it. It still produces well. And as far as firmware issues, this doesn't have it. It goes to Moultrie again. Overall, Moultrie, I think, is a better camera based on my experiences. I use both of them. I'm going to start doing some more camera reviews so people can make a better educated guess when they go out and purchase them. All right, that's all I have for you. Sub the channel, and I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy the video and the pictures at the end. Be well.